Oh hey K-pop stans, welcome to this video, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. I am so happy and excited to annoy you with my rants, essays, and opinions. So the new intro, the new aesthetic of the channel, you noticed? I hope you noticed because I went through so much with my computer recently. I was kind of forced to change everything after losing all my data. I hope you like it because me, I love it. Tell me what you think about it on the comment section or send me a DM about it on Instagram. And while you're here, you might as well follow me. You saw how I made the transition so smoothly? God, I'm such a genius. Don't forget to leave a like or a dislike and subscribe if you haven't. Moving on to the video, to be honest with you, I'm not even completely sure of what type of video this is, but I'd say it's a little bit of a video essay and a little bit of a rant with some actuality, news topic, doubled with me realizing there's a big society effect or phenomenon that I'd like to react to. I'm not sure, but I'll see when I'll be done recording this, because know that I'm actually going full freestyle for this one. So without further ado, let us start. Jisoo and Jimin, respectively members from Blackpink and BTS, two tremendously popular K-pop groups worldwidely, very recently dropped their first solos on March, and the least we could say is that they were very expected. Not only by the fans, but since, like I said, Blackpink and BTS are factually the biggest names of the K-pop industry, everyone was looking forward to see what Jimin and Jisoo would give us. Especially Jisoo, I'd say, because with the preview, the pre-hype, the teasers we got, we were really waiting for it. I'll proceed chronologically for this video and start with Jimin's solo debut, what people mainly thought about it, and then I will do the same for Jisoo. Then I will give my opinion on each part and then finish with telling you how interesting it is that the two cases are kind of linked and similar regarding the reactions they provoked. Hence my mention earlier about a society effect. Let us start. When Jimin's debut was announced, nobody was expecting it. Unlike Jisoo's one that was being requested for years, now that 3 out of the 4 Blackpink members already had their own. Jimin was, and that's just my opinion, doubled with a bit of truth. Jimin was the member of BTS that was the least expected to be the one having a solo, having the performer, the dancer material more than the singing, rapping, and producing material like his fellow members. We kinda expected Jungkook, Suga, or V even to be the next ones after J-Hope to have a solo album to be dropped. But then Jimin's solo album got announced, and personally I didn't know what to expect at all. I knew it had to involve some strong choreo at least, but I wasn't sure about that. I had Lie and Serendipity running through my head, but also his song Promise, so I wasn't sure of anything. Unlike other members, I didn't have any idea of the style we were going to have because artistically and musically, I don't even know Jimin that much. Lie, Serendipity, and Promise. If you never listened to it, they're 3 very different songs with 3 very distinct styles. So really, I didn't know what to expect. But like everyone else, I was curious and I'm a fan, so I waited. After being teased by the photo shoots and the Set Me Free Part 2 MV teasers, we kind of saw the colors of what was going to be showed. A strong choreo was expected, and this Jimin performance skill, and we all know that Jimin performance's skill was going to be emphasized for sure, and the style was going to be different from everything we had before as for Jimin as a soloist. And then it dropped. With his album Face that was going to be dropped later than that, we were sure that everything was indeed different and new from everything we've heard from Jimin so far. So here it was, Set Me Free Part 2. That from the first listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, I loved very much. And unsurprisingly, I was flabbergasted by his performance. I mean, it's Jimin. We're used to him slaying, but He manages to surprise us every time when it comes to his performance and his skills as a dancer. And then I saw the regular people's reaction to it, and oh boy. I'll just read the tweets for you to have an idea of what was said by people who weren't armies for the most, so you would expect a more unbiased opinion of it. Unbiased. Jisoo knew she had to save the solo K-pop industry after hearing BTS' recent solo act and Jimin's sad auto-tune excuse for a song. She said, "Let me show y'all how to sing." I don't even know what to say. Like, why should people, and why people do involve their fave in their hatred of someone else? I would never understand weaponizing your fave to hate someone else. BTS Jimin becomes the first idol to receive a trash song with 100% autotune on his solo comeback. Congratulations, Twink. Moving on, I'm not gonna get mad. I really didn't like Jimin's solo, unfortunately. The auto-tune is too much. Jimin's solo debut would have been a masterpiece if they didn't auto-tune the fuck out of the rap parts. Like, it's good as hell, but my boy doesn't sound like that. Stop it. I think it's funny coming from an AT stan, really. Anyways, moving on. I want to like Jimin's solo, but the auto-tune is just good for Jimin and his fans for all those achievements, but it won't take away the fact that the song is bad. She emphasized it is bad. Worst one so far this year. Wow! I like Jimin and his solo songs are some of my favorites, but this one is just terrible. The lyrics and too much autotune makes it so cringe. My ears are bleeding. I'm surprised Jimin's comeback is the worst one BTS solo comeback till date. Like, man, sing. Why you need to autotune everything? Okay. Jimin's solo is more dull than I think. Too much autotune. And then, well, as you can see, people had a problem with just the auto-tune being too much, and that prevented them to appreciate the song properly. I mean, is there a lot of auto-tune in Set Me Free Part 2? Yes, but hear me out on this. Doesn't it sound more of something that K-pop stans seized as an opportunity to have an excuse to hate on this song and make it seem like constructive criticism? Because damn, after Like Crazy got dropped, these people were nowhere to be found. Go listen to Like Crazy, by the way. It's a bop. Just to prove you how much some of them were so deep in their bad faith. My opinion, people were just looking for excuses just to not admit that what Jimin dropped was kinda top tier. Call me biased, call me a Jimin stan, call me whatever you want, and I'll call you out for your bad faith in return. It's actually so mind-blowing to me how K-pop stans are quick to point what's wrong in a BTS song, ignoring everything that was good about it. I can hear that some people actually didn't like Set Me Free Part 2. I mean, my channel is literally a compilation of my unpopular opinions, and I know I annoy a lot of people with it, and I understand people having them. However, as someone who have strong unpopular opinions, I at least give somewhat of an explanation of why I dislike a song. But they're looking for reasons so bad they have to repeat what was said and promote other people's personal bad opinion on them not liking Set Me Free and create a hate train about it just for that to become a general truth, since a bunch of people, armies or people with actual good taste, think the opposite. Exactly like the Jisoo case, in fact. And speaking of which, let's now move on to the Jisoo's debut and what people thought about it, as much as my thoughts on it. Like I said before, Jisoo's debut was highly expected. She kept teasing it, YG kept teasing it, revealing how they put on the budget on the filming locations, apparently being Paris, France. And like Jimin, not just the Blinks were looking forward to it, K-pop stan in general were expecting it with, like I said, the teasing and Jisoo being the only member who hasn't had a solo yet. Blinks were really at it, telling people that Jisoo's solo was going to be revolutionary. I should make a video about how annoying this fandom is thinking about it. Really, it could be such an interesting topic because wow. So yeah, Blinks were at it, telling people that Jisoo would outsell their faves, especially now that Jimin dropped his solo. And people's opinions were very contrasted, to say the least, with some armies saying that was the debut of the year, some other armies that didn't really like it, other K-pop stans saying that it wasn't that much of a bop. And interestingly, some Blinks and BTS antis were quick to say how much of a flop it was because of the auto-tune. I swear I can't hear that word anymore. Auto-tune. So with that whole context behind, Jisoo's solo was highly expected. And Jisoo, as a member of Blackpink, that was in the past factually the least looked at. Though being the main vocalist, we didn't hear of her that much with the lack of lines she was having in Blackpink songs and her stage presence that often goes unnoticed compared to other members. Not for the lack of talent, but for the lack of opportunities. In short, blame YG. I personally got to appreciate her more because of the drama she took a part of, Snowdrop. I personally saw a side of Jisoo that was interesting, and Light was rightfully so brought more on her. And I am intimately convinced that it played a role in her having more lines in songs for Blackpink's following album Born Pink, and on her solo being planned right after. The 31st of March was a day to remember, to say the least, and oh boy, how much reactions we got from it. When it dropped, I went quick to watch the MV and listen to All Eyes on Me. And just like Jimin's solo, I really liked it. At the very first listening, I'm talking about Flowers when I say that. The song is very Teddy styled. I could recognize his artistic print on the production for sure. And surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, because I'm not sure with Teddy anymore, I really liked it. I really, really liked it. The production was simple and light with a very effective chorus beat, and I didn't expect anything else for Jisoo, honestly. That's exactly the image I had of her musically, and I was really satisfied. The production really goes very well with her voice, as much as the choreo, in fact. That was very Jisoo, if I could phrase it like that. Moves that are not too big, but are very much calculated to make it right, and very much effective. Then the visuals of the MV that were flawless, obviously. I wasn't expecting less from it. I wasn't expecting less from Jisoo. This debut was very at Jisoo's image, and that's what I really liked about it. So to me, Jisoo's solo was a success. I was satisfied, and I went quick to share my thoughts on my Instagram story, telling people how I was pleased with the solo and how I loved it. As much as the B-side, All Eyes on Me, that honestly I liked a little less than Flower because it sounded more Blackpink than Jisoo, but I didn't have a bad time listening to it, honestly. But then I got my mood's reaction on it that answered me saying that they had the complete opposite feelings towards Jisoo's Flower, and I was shook. Everything is subjective again. You can dislike a song that everyone likes and vice versa, but I really was surprised by the reactions Jisoo's solo had. Again, I'll read some tweets for you to get an idea of what I'm going to address here. Jisoo's solo might be the worst song I've heard in 20 years. It's bland, generic, and boring, but she did a great job representing the stiffness that characterizes her. Wow. Wow! Jisoo's solo so fucking boring. Goodness gracious. Most boring Blackpink solo debut. Now Jisoo stans gotta pretend it wasn't bad and string the hell out of that crap song, Nayeon Karma.
Now why am I in it?
And you see the point I'm trying to make here when I'm telling you that weaponizing your fave to hate on someone else is shitty. Why would you bring Nayeon in this? Like, what the hell? Jisoo's solo is so boring and uncreative. Oh my god, I expected something better. Jisoo's solo is the most boring out of 4. There is a reason why YG give her less screen time and less line in songs. They know she's a mother of dozens. Remember when some Blink said Jisoo's solo was gonna be better than Jimin's? Now her own fandom finds it boring. But I gotta say, as a Blink, I love Jisoo's solo, and when you say her own fandom, who are you talking about? So that's the solo that is coming to end us all. It's an abortion of Sunmi's Gashina and Jennie's solo, but stiffed and boring. Stephen Hawking moved way more than Jisoo at the MV. I may not be a huge Blackpink fan. Half born pink, I do like Jisoo, but boy did Teddy do her dirty. Her solo was absolute ass. It was that boring and bad. I feel extremely bad for Jisoo for having a chic producer. The song was boring, her outfits were horrendous, and they did her dirty. Now I know that is bad faith because her outfits were absolutely fire. Are you kidding me? Or do you have bad taste? Anyways, moving on. A failed solo. Oh, look, an army. Are we surprised? A failed solo debut with a boring song. Non-existent vocal ability. Lame choreo. Stiff ass delivery. We're enjoying over here too watching Blinks force themselves to eat that garbage. Jisoo will forever be a dozen. Don't speak on Jimin. Are we going to address the fact that she mentioned Jimin in her hateful tweet towards Jisoo? Now I have to say, weaponizing Jimin to throw hate is such a lame thing to do. Loser mindset. Jisoo MV reminded me of Solo, but much more boring. She definitely tried to follow the Jennie formula, but it won't work. She's just a very boring individual in general. So, as you can see, the reactions were strongly about Jisoo's solo being boring and K-pop stans expecting better. You can imagine that as someone who liked Flower at the first listen, I was pretty dumbfounded. People were coming for Teddy, for Jisoo, for Blinks being too biased and overhyping a boring song. That reminded me of the reactions Jimin's solo got. First, have y'all noticed how there was at least one Blink to negatively and maliciously comment on Jimin's solo, and at least one army to do the exact same thing for Jisoo's? I feel like you see where I'm going there. Talking about an opinion being formed and articulated before even the songs being dropped. And you can feel it by reading the tweets that they were ready to not like the song. That is just me theorizing, but I could bet whatever you want that it's the case for most of them. Antis, not actual people who actually listened to the song and ended up not liking it, unfortunately, but antis. Which leads me to the final part of this video that is actually the most interesting one. So as a multi-stan, as an army, as much as a Blink, I would like to say that the reactions we had of Jisoo and Jimin's solos are extremely revealing of K-pop stans' enormous bad faith. Of course, there's the fact that everything is subjective. Everyone could have their own thoughts and opinion about something, and I'm not in everyone's head to say and affirm that they're just haters looking for an occasion to spit their venom unfairly and disguise it as them giving constructive criticism. But there's also the fact that the occasion they took to throw that criticism is just visibly amplified. And since it is convenient for a vast majority of K-pop stans to not like what's popular and be quick to call it overrated because it's Blackpink and BTS who got strong fandoms anyway, that would like everything they have to drop, they are on this automatism to just dislike whatever BTS or Blackpink drops, just for the sake of disliking what a bunch of people really much liked. K-pop stans love to hate these two groups, and Jisoo and Jimin's solo debut reactions was the perfect image to illustrate it. Because EXO Sky, for example, his latest drop at the very same period as solo song, as much as a solo album, and there's a quick correlation to make between the fact that EXO isn't as popular and trendy as BTS or Blackpink, and Kai receiving the literal same praise that could have been given to Jimin. They both got strong performances, abilities, amazing choreos, flabbergasting visuals, overwhelming productions in a good way. But since people love to hate BTS, obviously they had to have something bad to say about it, when really Jimin's debut was top tier. So my final personal thoughts are that Jimin and Jisoo indeed got solo material that personally surprised me, because respectfully, they're the members I was expecting a solo material from the least. Of course, my opinion isn't a generality. You can find yourself in one hand not liking Jisoo's solo and being a Blink or not necessarily a Blackpink NT, or on the other hand not liking what Jimin dropped and be an ARMY. Everything is possible, because as long as your opinion isn't formed from the Bluebird app or from a core hatred towards what you criticize, a core hatred towards BTS or Blackpink, which are the ones you criticize, and as long as you also didn't copy pasted someone's thought in there, who must have copied pasted from somewhere else too actually, yeah, as long as it's your own opinion not being influenced by someone else's, you're fine. However, if you are influenced by someone else, if you actually had a core hatred for Jisoo or Jimin and were ready to dislike a song that was actually a bop, but just because you don't like them, you have to find a reason why. If you are a part of those people, I'm gonna tell you something. Try to form your own opinion before actually going quick to see someone else's. Because when you go and see for someone else's, you are looking for an excuse because you actually like the song. Next time, form your own opinion before opening the Blue app, before going to social media. Form your own opinion. Or you know what? Just listen to the song before even watching the MV. And when you go see people's opinions on social media, you'll see the difference. Because I don't know if you noticed, but when I described my experience with those two solo debuts, after I listened to them, my first reflex wasn't to go see someone else's opinion. My first reflex was to share my opinions, and then I realized everyone else's strong reaction towards it. Because it also could go in the other way. What I mean is, maybe you listen to a song and you don't like it, and you go on social media, watch everyone else's opinions, and since everyone is liking that song, you're going to make people think that you did because the vast majority did. So in short, don't be a hater or a follower. It have a personality, goddammit. Admit that you liked a song everyone hated. Admitting that you liked a song that everyone hated isn't that much of a big deal. I promise. Anyways, that is it for today's video, you guys, and I hope you liked it. If you want to share your opinion or share your thoughts about anything related to this video, you can share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to tell me what you think about the new aesthetic of the channel on the comment section as well. Tell me if you liked Jimin's solo. Tell me if you liked Jisoo's solo. Tell me why you didn't like Jisoo's solo or Jimin's solo. Share your thoughts on the comment section. Bye.